Why do women respect the man who walks away? Think about it. In that moment, he shows something most men are too afraid to show: choice. And choice is power. Machiavelli said it best: it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Not fear through cruelty, but fear through absence. A man who begs gets ignored. A man who leaves, his silence says more than words ever could. Here's the brutal truth: the man who pleads for her attention, who negotiates for her respect, has already lost it. But the man who sets the rules, who keeps his frame, who says, "enough," and walks away, he doesn't need to explain his value. His actions prove it. Scarcity always creates value, and nothing creates scarcity faster than removing yourself. Modern men make the mistake of thinking love is constant reassurance, endless sacrifice, never-ending pursuit. Machiavelli would laugh at that illusion. He wrote, "The promise given was a necessity of the past, the word broken is a necessity of the present." If you chain yourself to promises that no longer serve you, you make yourself a slave. But when you reclaim your power, when you leave with dignity, you may be hated, but you'll still be respected. Walking away isn't weakness. It's strategy. Machiavelli called it calculated cruelty. Injuries, he said, should be dealt all at once, quickly and decisively. That's what leaving does. One clean strike. One undeniable message: her games, her disrespect, her control, none of it will be tolerated. That single act hits deeper than years of silent endurance ever could. And this is why walking away terrifies her. Because it proves you don't orbit her world, you're free. And freedom is the one thing she cannot control. Machiavelli warned, a man who wishes to be good at all times will come to ruin. Goodness without boundaries is weakness, and women do not respect weakness. They exploit it. Think about it: people forget the gifts, the dinners, the constant validation. But they never forget loss. Machiavelli said, men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. When you walk away, you become that loss. She will remember the void, the absence, the silence. That vacuum forces her to measure her worth against your standards. And that's why walking away is the most powerful move you can make. And suddenly, you become the yardstick she can't escape. The man who never walks away is predictable. Easy to read. And predictability kills desire. Machiavelli warned, the vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances, and the world is chiefly vulgar. If you're always available, always trying to please, she sees through it. She sees desperation. But the man who withdraws, he becomes a mystery. And mystery is magnetic. Mystery is value. Walking away isn't just physical. It's psychological warfare. It's the art of detachment. Machiavelli told rulers, he who builds on the people builds on the mud. If you build your worth on her approval, you build on mud. The moment her mood shifts, you collapse. But when you walk away, you show that your foundation is stone, your principles, your discipline, your power. That's why she respects you, because she knows, deep down, she can't shake you. Now consider this: most men in love negotiate. They bend, they plead, they compromise. But compromise, Machiavelli warned, is the death of authority. If you let her disrespect you, if you tolerate her illusions, you're not being patient, you're deceiving yourself. You're teaching her that your loyalty is cheap. And what do people do with cheap things? They devalue them. Walking away flips the script. Instead of training her to expect submission, you train her to expect sovereignty. Instead of proving you'll stay no matter what, you prove you'll leave the moment your value is ignored. And that's when respect comes, not because you gave her everything, but because you showed her you could live without her. Machiavelli's genius was simple: the fear of loss drives people more than the hope of gain. And in relationships, that principle is ruthless. She doesn't fear being loved. She fears being left. Machiavelli's world was one of rulers and survival, but his truths are a mirror for modern relationships. He wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see, but few can feel. She doesn't care what you promise. She doesn't care what you intend. She watches what you do. She sees the man who begs. She sees the man who tolerates disrespect. And she concludes, consciously or not, that his value is low. But when she sees the man who withdraws, who pulls back his attention with calm indifference, that man radiates power. Because his actions scream, I don't need your validation to breathe." Most men think respect comes from endless giving. Machiavelli would smirk at that. He said, "The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, the one who doesn't, perishes." And today, women are surrounded by men who hand over everything for nothing. If you want respect, you can't be another giver. You must be the exception. The man who knows when to give, and when to walk away. Walking away is not cruelty. It's adaptation. It's the move that separates you from the sea of weak men who cling. Think of it like war. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must imitate both the fox and the lion. For the lion cannot defend against traps, and the fox cannot defend against wolves." In relationships, the lion is your strength, your refusal to beg. The fox is your strategy, your ability to walk away when staying would destroy your dignity. Combine the two, and you become untouchable. She can't trap you with manipulation. She can't overpower you with emotion. Because you're willing to leave the battlefield entirely. And here's the twist, walking away doesn't just test her. It exposes her. Machiavelli said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does at last." Weak men wait until they've been broken to walk away. The wise man, he does it first. The fool waits. He waits until years of disrespect rot him from the inside before he finally leaves, broken, bitter, and emptied of dignity. The wise man doesn't wait for destruction. He senses the manipulation early and walks away. He prevents the collapse before it begins. And in doing so, he commands respect, not just from her, but from himself. This shift is powerful. Women may never admit it out loud, but they are drawn to the man whose boundaries cannot be broken. The man who walks away creates a paradox. She resents his strength, yet she desires him all the more because of it. Machiavelli said, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver." When you refuse to be deceived, when you see through her games and simply walk away, you rob her of her power. And that's when she sees you as the most powerful man she has ever known. Respect is never born from words, it's born from decisive action. Most men refuse to accept this truth. They chain themselves to promises made long ago, even when the respect is gone. But Machiavelli reminds us, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. The man who clings to old vows enslaves himself to illusions. The man who walks away protects his dignity over his history. And that is always respected more than blind loyalty. Walking away is not a tantrum. It is not a threat. It is not a game. It is principle. Machiavelli wrote, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." And you command not with shouting, not with begging, but with presence. With the unspoken law, disrespect me, and you lose me. This law is not argued, it is enforced. And because it is enforced, it is respected. Think of every relationship like a small state. Machiavelli observed, "One change always leaves a dovetail into which another will fit. When you bend once, when you compromise your standards once, you leave a crack. And that crack invites more disrespect, more manipulation, more control. But the man who walks away at the first crack seals it. He prevents the collapse. He proves he cannot be reshaped into something he is not. And that certainty is where respect begins. The psychology is brutal but undeniable. Women test. They push boundaries not because they are cruel, but because nature compels them to seek strength, the man who will not bend. Walking away is proof that you are that man. Machiavelli warned, a prince who is not wise himself cannot be well advised. And what is wisdom if not the ability to see through the fog of emotion? The weak man stays because he fears loneliness. The wise man leaves because he knows staying kills his value. Walking away is respected not because it is cold, but because it is clear. And remember this, fear of loss shapes behavior more than love of gain. Machiavelli declared, men have less scruple in offending one who makes himself loved than one who makes himself feared. Translate this into relationships, she will disrespect the man who tries to earn her love at all costs. But she will hesitate before disrespecting the man she fears to lose. Walking away plants that fear deep inside her. It shows her you are not bound by her charm, nor enslaved by her beauty. You are free. And freedom is magnetic. There is nothing women respect more than a man they cannot control. That's why Machiavelli was right, it is much safer to be feared than loved when one of the two must be lacking. Love is fickle. Love fades. But fear of losing you, fear of your absence, fear of your standards, cements respect even when love falters. Most men don't get this. They confuse respect with affection, with compliments, with sweet words. But respect is born from strength. Machiavelli wrote, a prince is esteemed when he is a true friend and a true enemy. She must know where you stand. If you accept her games, you are neither. You are nothing. But if you walk away when your boundaries are crossed, she knows exactly what side you're on. That clarity, that line in the sand, makes her see you as irreplaceable. And make no mistake, walking away is not cruelty. It is justice. Machiavelli warned, men should be either caressed or crushed, for they can avenge small injuries but not great ones. In love, this means never wound her respect for you with nagging, pleading, or endless second chances. Do not chip away at her perception with half measures. Deliver one clear, final action, walk away. That is where her respect truly begins. If she betrays your standards, don't argue, don't plead, deliver the full strike. Walk away. That wound is clean, undeniable, unforgettable. She will always respect the man who enforces consequences with precision more than the one who dithers in weakness. Because walking away isn't just about her. It's a philosophy of power. It's the statement that you are whole without anyone's approval. Machiavelli wrote, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. The same rule applies to you. The people you keep close, especially the women you allow near, are a reflection of your intelligence. If those closest to you don't respect you, that's not on them. That's on you. And when you walk away from the wrong woman, you prove, to the world and to yourself, that your throne won't be corrupted by weakness. That act commands more admiration than years of blind loyalty ever could. Walking away is bigger than relationships. It's about ruling yourself. Machiavelli warned, the first opinion formed of a prince's intelligence is based on the quality of the men he keeps around him. For you, that means the relationships you tolerate announce to the world exactly who you are. Stay with a woman who mocks your standards, who disrespects you, and you broadcast weakness. Walk away, and you broadcast strength. That strength becomes your reputation, and reputation, Machiavelli said, is worth more than affection. It is everything. He also warned, a prince must guard himself from being despised and hated. The quickest way to despise yourself is to endure disrespect. Walking away shields you from that. It protects your dignity. She may rage, cry, curse your name, but she will not despise you. She despises the man who begged, who bent, who tolerated. She cannot despise the man who left. Even in her fury, she respects him, because he chose dignity over dependency. And here's why it cuts so deep, the man who leaves is burned into her memory like a scar. Machiavelli observed, men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. You are her patrimony, her gain, her prize. When you walk away, you take with you what she cannot replace. Your masculine presence. Money can be replaced. Comfort can be replaced. But the feeling of standing before a man who does not bend, that haunts her. That's the paradox. Your absence becomes a mirror of what she cannot control. And scarcity, Machiavelli knew, is power. In a world flooded with men who give attention, validation, and endless availability, the one who walks away is rare. And rarity is what rules. Every man can stay. Few men can leave. And those who can, command. Walking away disciplines your soul. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does at last. The fool waits until bitterness poisons him. The wise man leaves early, clear, decisive, untouched. In doing so, he not only wins her respect. He wins his own." That's why the man who leaves is remembered, the ghost in her future relationships, the unspoken standard she measures others against. And here's the cruel irony, the man who stays, who gives everything, is quickly forgotten. But the man who walked away without fear is immortalized. As Machiavelli insisted, it is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. You don't need her approval to be honored. You honor yourself by refusing to be enslaved. Machiavelli understood what most men never will, that true power is measured not by what you can hold on to, but by what you can let go of without hesitation. He wrote, "He who becomes master of a city accustomed to freedom and does not destroy it may expect to be destroyed by it." The same is true in relationships. If you allow a woman accustomed to disrespect to keep her freedom to abuse you, she will destroy you. But if you walk away, you destroy her power over you. You break the chain. You survive. And understand, walking away is not punishment. It is preservation. Machiavelli reminded us, a prince is respected when he is a true friend or a true enemy. Women despise indecision. They despise men who linger in half measures, too afraid to leave, too weak to command. But when you declare yourself fully present in respect, or fully gone in defiance, you gain something far rarer than affection. You gain reverence. Look at the psychology. Machiavelli wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand." She doesn't respect your words. She respects what she sees. And nothing is more undeniable than the sight of your back as you walk away. That is the ultimate image of self-rule. In that moment, she sees a man who does not kneel before desire, who does not beg for validation, who does not fear emptiness. She sees a man who governs himself. And whether she admits it or not, she admires him more than the one who stayed. Here lies the irony. She may hate you for leaving. She may curse you. But beneath the anger burns respect. Machiavelli wrote, "Hatred is acquired as much by good works as by evil ones." Don't be fooled, your sacrifices will not save you. You can love her endlessly, give her everything, and still she may despise you. Why? Because your love lacked strength. Your presence lacked consequence. But walk away, and though she may hate the loss, she will respect the man who had the courage to make it. That is why Machiavelli's wisdom slices so deep. Women respect men who walk away not because of cruelty, but because of clarity. In a world where weakness masquerades as romance, where men are taught to beg and bend, walking away is rebellion. It is the ruler's decree, the man's declaration that he cannot be ruled. And that declaration is more intoxicating than 1,000 promises of love. Walking away is not just a tactic with women. It is a philosophy of life. As Machiavelli wrote, "He who seeks to deceive will always find someone willing to be deceived." Don't be that man. If you stay in a relationship where respect is dead, you are the fool Machiavelli warned about. You allow yourself to be deceived by comfort, by habit, by the fear of being alone. But the man who walks away refuses that deception. He chooses dignity over delusion. And that choice makes him a ruler in a world of slaves. Think about it. Every moment you stay where you are not respected, you bleed power. Every moment you tolerate what insults your soul, you cheapen yourself. Machiavelli insisted, it is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Respect is not handed out by women, it is seized by men who honor themselves first. When you walk away, you honor yourself. You declare that your presence is a privilege, not a guarantee. And that makes you unforgettable. Walking away disciplines your heart, clarifies your mind, strengthens your will. It forces you to realize, you were never begging for her. You were begging for yourself. The man who learns to walk away is untouchable. He cannot be bribed by beauty. He cannot be controlled by manipulation. He cannot be broken by loss. Because he has mastered the hardest skill of all, letting go. Machiavelli taught, the wise man does at once what the fool does at last. Do not wait until your soul is drained. Walk away now, and let her respect you forever. And now I'll say this directly to you. If these words hit you, don't sit in silence. Act. Hit the like button, it tells the world men still value strength. Share this video, because your brothers need to hear it before it's too late. Subscribe, because we are building something most men will never find, a brotherhood of clarity, of power, of philosophy turned into action. And if you want to take it even further, support the channel through the link below. Every action spreads the truth. Machiavelli whispered it through the centuries. Respect is not given. It is taken, by the man who dares to walk away.